Welcome back. We're now going to continue with Hetti and the journey to becoming an IT expert.
Security expert. Welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed the karaoke party as much as I did. My voice is a little bit broken, but we're gonna repeat today in the evening. So, welcome to my talk, The Journey to Becoming an IT Security Expert. First, who am I? So I have a sysadmin background. I'm doing it already for several years, sysadmin in various companies and in the MetaLab or Hackspace. I have 10 years of academia. I studied for 10 years. I wouldn't really recommend it that you study so long for bachelor and master together, but well, happened. I'm already also doing capture the flag since 2015 with the academic team we own you from the Technical University of Vienna. I'm also here at BalCCon at the community conference. I've also organized various conferences also in Vienna and also doing also volunteering work in different positions and different organizations. So first, for questions afterward, there will be discussion and questions in the end. Please also wait for the microphone that you get it before asking a question. And these slides will also be uploaded online to the pre-talk system, so you can just download the slides. There will be all the links inside. You don't need to make pictures. You can download just the slides later with all the links inside. So the first thing is a disclaimer. This talk represents my own experience. There are personal recommendations. Paths can be different. You can join this field in different ways with different paths. And later, some parts we have a bigger focus on offensive security because that's my background. So first of all, why this talk? IT security is very popular, and there are also a lot of different specializations and challenges. And especially as a beginner, it's really hard to choose where to start, what should I do, what I should pursue, what do I should study, or whatever. And it's also hard to distinguish what are good options because there's so much possibilities. There are tutorials, there are studies, there are job opportunities, where should I start? Therefore, I would first show my own path, what I did, what I do, and what you could do in your future to get into this field. So as I said, I have academia background. I started 2012 on the technical computer science study at Technical University of Vienna. And I studied for 7 years, my bachelor, and there were 2 hard courses on the electrical engineering faculty. And I already tried it 1 or 2 times and failed. And then I had this genius idea. There is the university law that you can have your own study, you put yourself your own courses, you make a qualification profile, and you hand it in. If it gets authorized, you can have this individual study. So I made this individual study. I kicked out those 2 courses, and I named it Computer Security Engineering. So I put a lot of IT security into my courses, and it got approved. And I finished this bachelor in 2020. So that was my life hack for my university this year. And then I said, well, I have now 8 years of university in Vienna, and I would like to start to work. And because the master is a full-time master, so I said, okay, let's go to the FA Technicum. It's a more applied university, and they also offered that you can study part-time. So I worked for 30 hours per week and studied in the evening. I had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the evening I had my study there and studied that in the evening. And I did it I finished really fast, in 2 years I did my master after 8 years of bachelor. And also my master thesis was automated deployment phishing infrastructures, just roll out phishing infrastructure in 15 minutes and then make your phishing campaigns. So besides going to conferences during my bachelor, I also worked a little bit. So first I started as an IT all-rounder for 1.5 years, doing all the IT stuff, sysadmin, IT support, whatever, for a small consulting company. And afterwards, I was for 3.5 years a sysadmin at the University of Vienna at an IT institute. I also was lecturer for a university course where I, in the end, teached about ransomware. Maybe you remember my ransomware talk, and in the end I did this talk as a course for interested people. I also had some internships at some companies and had there some experience. And I'm also, since over 5 years, of volunteering sysadmin at MetaLab and doing the whole infrastructure with a colleague there. After this IT work, and when I finished my bachelor, I got the opportunity to start as an IT security professional. So I worked for 2 years as an IT security expert, and I did mainly penetration testing, web apps, networks, apps, iOS, Android. I also did some like red teaming assessment, where we like had for 1 month an assessment to infiltrate the company, and also some social engineering assessments where like sent out phishing mails and tried to get like access to the company, and also some IT architecture analysis and also some security consulting, like they need some support with their decisions, so we helped them. So that was like my entry into the IT security professional field. And also, beside like this IT security work, I did also do a lot of volunteering. Like there's Crypto Party Vienna, where I like teach people basic IT security stuff in my free time. There is Privacy Week, where I also having talks and also was part of the Orga. And there's also in Vienna the DeepSec IT security conference, where also are volunteering and helping out, and also so if you volunteer, you get known to speakers and have a network and can get known to nice people. And I also do Chaos Macht Schule. It's a really nice project from Germany, which also is in Austria too. So we go to schools voluntarily, and we teach the children media competence. Like we tell them why are social medias free and why are probably dangerous or not as free as you think, and also why you should have proper passwords, so and whatever. And we also discuss with the people like what are secure messengers, why is Snapchat not really the best thing, and that they don't really delete your messages. And so we try to teach the children some basic media competence that they can in the future watch out for their digital usage. So, first of all, that was like my path in this field. So let's start with IT security in general. Like it's a super broad field. You have a lot of specializations. You can do offensive security like I did, like penetration testing, red teaming. You can go to the defensive field, like you can do system hardening, monitoring. SOC is system secure operations center, where like analyze incidents. You can do blue teaming and defend the network. You can do incident response, like when shit hits the fan. Maybe you heard yesterday the talk from the Greek guy and from Sandra. And of course, there is also this field of information security management system. It's not I don't really like it, but it's like more theoretical and setting up the system. But in the end, you need also some management systems to manage the dangers of incidents and of IT problems. And you can also do IT security architecture and many, many more fields. So it's really interesting, and you can really choose what you're interested in. And let's start first with, like, maybe you know what's happening in IT security, but I would like to have a small guide, like how I see the IT security daily life, or how it happened. So the first thing is, you probably know, this is fine. You're working there and everything's burning, and you need to fix it somehow. That's often the case, and I mean, you sometimes get used to it, but it's still like, it shouldn't be like that. And of course, you also know when it's like that, then the next slide is also, of course, the follow-up. Like, it's not stressful at all, but you get quite old if you're like really stressed all the time. And if you're stressed and you have a lot of stuff to do, then also this can happen. Like, you did what? Like, I don't know, you're doing some stuff and it was, you turned off the server while the incident was there, like all the memories away, man, you did what? Or what, you deleted this file share, whatever. So there, you can make mistakes, and then sometimes it's not possible to recover from those mistakes. I mean, you learn for the future, but yes, that's also one thing, like, stuff can happen. Another thing is you're probably gonna know that situation. Like if you need to do something and then every points to the other person and you're like running around and don't know who is now the responsible person, and yeah, go to the other one, go to the CTO, no, the intern it is, the CISO. So it's also like you need to go around and find the right person that you can discuss stuff. And it's sometimes tedious and it's sometimes hard, and it shouldn't be like that, but it's often the case that you really need a long time until you get the stuff you need for your work. And so sometimes just people quit because of this, because I don't want to do that. And another problem or solution, it's how you see it, like you have a problem, there is a proper solution, but the people just do a quick fix. Like it should work for some time, and then the quick fix works forever, or like at some point just breaks. And this happens a lot, and also happened in my career also sometimes, that we had just deployed a quick fix because we didn't have some time, and some quick fixes at the MATLAB are still existing, and we still want to replace them by proper solutions, but currently no time. But we're gonna come there. And for this problem, there is a specific root cause, and that's like often you don't have a proper time frame for projects, so you don't get enough times to solve this. You don't get enough time to solve the problem. Like you've only a project for 1 week, but realistically you need like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a big problem that I often encounter, that you get less two-way time to solve the problems, and then you make some quick fixes, whatever, and often you're like not satisfied with the outcome, but you need to go on to the next project, and that's also a problem often, that you don't get just enough time to do it properly. Another challenge is that in IT security, especially in IT security, you're competing with the whole world. Like, there are a lot of people, you can work online, you can work remotely, and there are a lot of talented people out there that are also want to be the best and want to offer a service or want a job in the IT security field, so you're competing with the whole world, so you need to be on track, and also lifelong learning, and keep updated all the time, because IT security is a really fast-changing world, and you really need to be updating your knowledge all the time. And as I already said, updating the knowledge regularly. You need to learn. You need to write maybe some exams. You need to set up some labs. You need to watch some tutorials, read some books. So it's really it's quite a lot of effort to be up to date, and but in the end, it's quite a reward if you like get some new news, and you can maybe test some proof of concept code, set up a lab, and tinker around. So it's also quite a cool thing too. And one important thing, maybe you saw the talk yesterday from Nikos about incident response. Like, it can happen that it's like Friday, and a client calls you and says, hey, we just have an incident. Can you please come and fix the stuff and make an incident response? So your whole weekend plans change. And this is, I mean, it depends on the IT security job you do, but there are quite some where you say, okay, I need to pack my stuff. I need to go into the plane and fly to some customer and fix the stuff. So this is also a thing that can happen, that you have no proper weekend plans, because it can change just in a second. And of course, after such weekend, you look like this, and you're like, or like like I did today in the morning after the karaoke party. And so it can also be really, really hard, like working all weekend and doing an incident, and then like just come home and just sleep for 1 day. But that were like the hard or bad things about IT security. But the thing is, I don't want only tell you bad things about IT security. I also want to tell at least 3 good things I think are in IT security important. So the first thing is, so with IT security, you can have a really positive impact in the IT world and in the world in general. You can defend companies, you can defend the private data of a lot of people, you can implement proper systems, so you can improve accessibility to services, you can teach people how to watch out, awareness trainings, so you can have really proper impact and help the whole society with your work. And I think that's a really nice thing that you can do with your time and your effort. Another thing is, during this whole positive impact thing, you have also a lot of challenges awaiting you. There are a lot of interesting challenges out there that you can start and work on. Like, there are a lot of different fields, as already said, and they have all different challenges. And so it's interesting, and you can have a lot of fun there. I mean, sometimes you're going to sit there for 5 hours and debugging some stuff, but if you manage it, you're super happy and it's super nice, and you say, yeah, I did the cool stuff and it's working now. And that was one motivation of me that's quite challenging, and I like this challenge. And I mean, and the last motivation I can tell you is like, I mean, you earn quite good in IT security, and I mean, I said you have some bad things, but you get properly paid in this field, and that's quite some positive thing, good thing. So I made a list for like what I think are prerequisites for IT security. So the first thing is you should have some curiosity for problem solving, like you want to tackle problems and solve them. That's like one really important prerequisite in my opinion. Also, you need a broad foundational IT knowledge, because IT security, in my opinion, is not an entry job. You should already need some knowledge in the IT field, like knowing how systems work, knowing some concepts, having technical hands-on experience, also having some programming skills. Of course, as already said, you are competing with the whole world and everything is changing fast, so you also need a motivation for lifelong learning. And also one important skill that often people maybe don't see is you also need some soft skills, because you're talking with your colleagues, you're talking with customers, you maybe do awareness campaigns, so you need also, you should manage to talk to people and sell them the good stuff of IT security. Like, you shouldn't click every application you download from the internet, or you should watch out for emails that are phishing mails, and you should have these soft skills how to tell that the people. So that's like for me the like 6 points that you should have as a prerequisite. So the question is how you can get those. Like, some of them are like, okay, you have it by yourself, and some you need to like to get to this knowledge level. So I have like five paths I want to show you how you can that you can explore and can get into it to get like the baseline for the knowledge you need for IT security. So the first is apprenticeship. I will go for everyone in detail. Of course, academia, as I did, also IT jobs, and also self-learning and CTFs. And yeah, conference like this here, like coming here and talking with people and listening to awesome talks and discussions. So the first thing is apprenticeship. Like, you start a job from the beginning, you normally have a mentor, you are like working for 3 years. Often you don't have a good pay in these 3 years, but after the 3 years, you get quite a proper pay afterwards, and you have a really solid IT knowledge for the IT security start. And so I think this is quite a nice thing to start with if you're like quite young and say, okay, I'm interested in IT security, but I need the IT knowledge in the beginning, so start an apprenticeship and work the 3 years, learn a lot, have a mentor, and then start to step into IT security. Another, academia. I did academia. There's a lot of theory that you learn in academia that's sometimes hard, but it pays off because for example, you learn a programming language, but you know the concept behind it. So if you want to learn another programming language, you just already know the concept, so it's easier for you to use the language and also can just apply the concepts and just start directly coding in the new language. You get the proper good foundation after your study. The one thing is you need minimum 3 to 5 years until you're done with your study. And that's like minimum, because often you start to work beside university and you take longer. And often university like full time, so you don't have much time to work afterwards, or you just like work and need like double the time, or depends on your situation. One really good thing about academia is, in my opinion, you're independent, so you can choose yourself which courses you want to do, when you want to do it, when you want to do the exam, and you also learn some self-management, like when do I want to make this course, check out what I'm planning to do. So you, in the end, you're improving your management, and it's quite a nice soft skills to have later for life. And of course, friends for life. I have still friends that I'm meeting with. I was traveling with them around. I of course learned with them together, but I'm also going with them and partying, and it's really, really great friends that I learned in university, get known to them. I also have one academia bonus slide. It's a really important recommendation from myself. So do not postpone your math exam after you did the exercise course until the end of your study, because been there, done that, it's pain in the ass. Please, I don't recommend that. And another information, I would recommend you, if you go to university, find some people, some groups, some friends, and study with them together. Because if you're on your own as like a lone wolf, you will probably stop because like you don't have energy anymore, or you're getting troubles. But with a group, you can sit down, you can learn together, you can go and drinking something, party afterwards, and it's much, much easier to study with a group of people. So some recommendations for jobs to gain the basic knowledge. So one is like IT help desk. Because it's also a good thing to improve your soft skills, because you're interacting with people on the help desk. And you learn quite a lot how users behave, and how you should communicate with them, and how you should not communicate with them. So it's a quite nice intro job to get into IT security later. Then, of course, system administration, managing servers and getting all the idea how servers interact, how servers work, what software exists there, how to configure it. Because if you know how to configure software on a server, you also know what are the tricks, what are the configurations, where could be some pitfalls, where you can make configuration errors. So that could be beneficial for like some red teaming offensive attacks, or even for the blue team to know, okay, where we can configure stuff. Then, of course, IT technician, like if you have some incident, to go there and fix stuff, like the mobile help desk in the end. Also a good foundation, because you also interact with people, you fix problems, problem solving. And of course, all software testing, like you have a software and you need to test it to see if all the cases work, how they should work, if the interface is okay to use. And of course, if you're a software developer, then you also know first of all, that you can program, that you can what bugs you have often in software, how to maybe set up a DevOps pipe, a CI/CD pipeline, think about security in software, and so you get some idea if you like change to IT security, what you can test, what are like classical errors like SQL injections or escaping, whatever. So that's some quite good ideas where to start with a job for getting the basic knowledge. Then self-learning. There are really a lot of online resources out there. There are books, there are online courses, and one really good recommendation I can give you is like work on your own project. Get some interesting project and implement it. Set up a lab. And the first thing, you have a motivation, and when you're done with it, you have managed to achieve something, and you can play around with it, and you will gain a lot of knowledge by working on your own project. And I did also sometimes, like I have some idea, I will just implement it and figure around how to do it, how can I improve the security of it, for example, or so that's my biggest recommendations. Get some project and work on it on yourself, or even with colleagues together, and you're gonna have fun. And of course, there's so much online resources. There are YouTube tutorials, there are books, there are really good online courses, even by universities. Like universities offer free online courses, so you even get the certificate. So I have some links later that I can really recommend you, and there are like really courses from MIT, from some UK universities. It's for free, so you can really just go there, and you have like regular university online for 4 or 8 weeks, and you learn something there and have like exercises and exams, and it's completely free. You just need to take your time and do that. Then one part of self-learning is like doing capture the flags as a one thing to learn stuff, because you're competing at a fixed time frame. By the way, there's also a capture flag here at BalCCon, thanks to the Slovenian people. So if you want to check it out. It's super nice again. And the thing is, you have various challenge categories, so you can choose what you're interested in. Like you want to test or to pen test web apps, so choose the web category. You want maybe to solve some programming problems, so you just use the programming category. Or you may be interested in forensics, so there's often a forensic category you need to find some flag in a forensic image. While doing capture the flags, you're gonna improve your programming skills, because sometimes you just need like a quick fix script to exploit some challenge so often you just get Python and make some quick programming, and then you can exploit the challenge. But it's helping you to improve the programming skills, maybe find some new libraries to use for coding, and it's quite handy to have really solid programming skills that you can, like, if you need it, for just make a quick script to test something. And they're often very technical challenges, so you can get the deeper technical knowledge by analyzing the challenges and solving it. Like if you're up for reverse engineering or to decode a protocol. So it's a really good idea to look into that. And also one thing, soft skills again, normally you do CTFs in a team. So you need to communicate with the team, like what is your status, or like brainstorm with them how to solve a challenge. So that's also a thing that you learn with them, like working in a team, how to communicate, how to exchange. So that's also a good thing you can learn by playing capture the flags. One important thing is that capture the flag challenges are often artificial scenarios, and so it's often like some self-made challenge that often do not reflect real world. Like you have some challenge and you're like just hunting for this flag, like just a string. But in the real world, you're not hunting for a string. You're hunting for bugs in the software, and you need to test everything, and you don't know where the bug might be. And that's like the big difference between capture the flags and the real world when you do like pen testing. But I can at least say, one time I had some assessment, and there was a capture the flag challenge that was quite real life. So with the CTF challenge write-up, I could exploit the service. So it was like incident that I checked out this write-up, and it was like handy that I had like the same service, so I could like abuse it. It was super cool that it paid off to read write-ups. And also, you can earn prizes. If you're quite good with your team, you can like earn here like tickets for next BalCCon, or you get some money prizes or some vouchers or whatever. So you can also get some cool stuff while hacking and learning stuff. That's about capture the flags. Can really recommend it. It's fun, especially with a group of people, and you learn a lot. Another big thing is conferences. Plus volunteering. So for conferences, you're here at BalCCon because it's an awesome conference and you have really cool talks, you have people to discuss and meet them. So the first thing is when you come to a conference, you're getting to know people. You can create a network for the future, like discuss with them, or maybe there's a work opportunity where you can they give you hey, we hire new people, maybe you want to join us. Of course, there are super awesome talks most of the time and discussions where you can participate. And also, conferences are an opportunity to speak yourself there. Maybe you have some favorite topic you want to speak about. So come to a conference, hand into a CFP, or even just use the lightning talks. You can use the lightning talks in 5 minutes and show your favorite project. Maybe the project you did to learn something, you can show it off, say, hey, I did this project and then learned this and this. And if you're interested, come later to me and we discuss this together. So it's a super opportunity to speak about your favorite topic and maybe get some new inputs for your problems. Like speak about your current problems and maybe people can give you some insights like how they solved it or give you some tips how you could improve it. And also one thing about conferences is about volunteering. You can, when you volunteer at conference, there are quite some benefits that you can have, like of course free entry at a conference. Also quite nice often if you can join the speakers dinner. And also one thing is, here it's not a problem because all the speakers are going around, you can talk with them and everything. But there are bigger conferences where there is no real speaker interaction. There's the speaker on the stage, and then it's the Q&A. And afterwards, the speaker just disappears. So he's just coming for the conference or isn't really available to discuss stuff afterwards. But if you're a volunteer and you're helping the speaker on the stage, whatever, so you have quite the possibility to interact with them and ask them some questions and get known to them. That's quite a nice, cool thing. About knowledge, there is even more knowledge. As I said, there are online courses. There's of course Try Hack Me. You maybe know it's a super cool platform to learn also IT security and IT basics there. And it's a free platform with some premium stuff. But even the free content is super nice. There is of course Hack the Box, which is more CTF-like, but also now have more Try Hack Me style labs too. And also, as already said, the online university courses. Yeah, there are also, of course, videos, tutorials online. First of all, thanks to all content creators out there that do a really nice job and help us really, especially the guys who are doing lecturing math on YouTube. They help me a lot in my study. And, but also there's a thing often, it's hard to distinguish quality content on YouTube, but sometimes people also telling the wrong stuff on videos and tutorials. So it's sometimes also hard to distinguish which YouTuber or which person have good content. I mean, sometimes people can tell you, yeah, I know this guy makes good stuff, but sometimes it's hard. So the best is ask maybe your colleagues, your friends, maybe they have some recommendations, which tutorials or videos are good on YouTube, or which people. And the online community is there is a lot of platforms out there where people join and discuss together stuff. I mean, there is Discord, there are online forums, except online forums are dying more or less, but there are a lot of new platforms out there where you can connect with people, like-minded people, and discuss with them, solve problems, meet in real world, go on a Club Mate and discuss with them stuff. And especially in COVID times, it got bigger and bigger, and it's a super good opportunity to exchange with people online. There are quite some cool communities out there. So I told you a lot of stuff about how to get knowledge and everything, and then people say, okay, I got the knowledge, but I want more. I want certifications. So the thing is about certifications, yes, they exist, and okay, you want to do a certification, choose, please. So there is this really awesome certification roadmap. It's open source. There is the link also there. As I said, I will upload the slides. And if really a lot of certifications, they have different costs and everything, and different. They cover different topics. So the first thing is for certifications, they normally cost money. They may expire, after 3 years they're expired and you need to renew it or make another exam. sometimes certifications only teach theory, and you have, for example, and you have no practical labs. And there are also like various exam formats. Like often certifications are like multiple choice exams. So you just are on a computer and just do a multiple choice thing and then you're done. Sometimes it's not that. I would say it's so that the multiple choice stuff is more the classic exam format. But sometimes there are certifications where you can do have also a practical part where you need to exploit something, maybe to configure something in a virtual lab. And that's also quite the more interesting exam in my opinion. And one very important thing, just because a person has a certification, it does not mean that the person really knows the stuff, or does the person that the certificate reflects the real skills of the people, of the person. Because sometimes if it's a multiple choice exam, you just like can check out maybe the question from the exam and just learn it, and afterwards you just pass somehow, but you didn't really learn the stuff. And one really important thing is also knowledge and skills are much more worth than certifications. If you have knowledge and skills, and if, for example, you have a super nice GitHub profile with your projects up there, and maybe doing some capture the flags and are super motivated, and you also put this in your CV, like I'm doing capture the flags, here's my GitHub profile, I did this project. This is normally more worth than certifications. So if a future employee sees, future employer sees that you're super active, have projects on GitHub, you're doing capture the flag work, maybe it's volunteering somewhere, I think that's more worth than a person that has like 2 or 3 certifications but no stuff outside of that. I've covered, I said I'm focusing on offensive security for the certification part. So I have like some entry-level recommendations. As said before, I would rather recommend to have your projects on GitHub, volunteer somewhere, do CTFs. But if you say, okay, I have some money left, I want to do some certification because maybe I want to challenge myself or have at least one certificate for my CV, I have at least 3 recommendations for you for this thing. So I have 3 of them. They're suitable for beginners and intermediate, and they're quite cheap or affordable. The first thing I can recommend is the EJPT. It's the eLearn Security Junior Penetration Tester Certificate. It's from the INE organization, and the cool thing is it's basic labs and the learning material is free. So there is a starter pass, you can register and you get these courses for free, but you only pay for the certification for the exam. And it's $200 for the exam, and they're currently, and it's also a practical exam, like you have some labs to pen test something and some multiple choice questions, so it's a combination of practical and multiple choice. And also one thing is, now version 2 is incoming from EJPT. It's currently in a beta status, but if you're interested in this one, I would recommend you to wait some more weeks or months for the version 2. They improve some stuff, and it's still the same price for $200. So if you're interested in penetration testing and want to get into this field and say, okay, I have some money left, I want to do a certification, then this would be a good starting point. It's quite affordable with $200. Then another recommendation for beginners are the offensive security learn fundamentals. So offensive security has quite a lot of certification, like the well-known OSCP, but this one is, so they changed it, this one is quite new. That's a really fundamental basic course. You have 5 courses to learn the fundamentals. You don't have really exams, you have like some small assessments, and you just get like a certificate that you finished the course. And it's really good because you learn all the fundamentals for web security, cloud, Windows exploitation, SOC, cryptography. And you have 365 days for labs and learning. Like you don't need to stress yourself while doing this learning stuff. So that's quite nice. And you have also 2 certifications included for as exam attempt for, there's some Kali Linux basics as exam, and there's some wireless attack certification, how to do wireless attacks. You can also do that exam there. It's more expensive, it's like $800, but often if you have like working somewhere and say, hey, I would like to start in IT security, probably your employer gonna pay this, and you can learn on it. And especially if you're like working somewhere and you have like 365 days for that, so it's easier like to do it like one day per week or in the evening, whatever, and you don't have the stress to do it in like one month. Another certification which is quite new in the market is the PNPT. It's the Professional Network Penetration Tester. It's from TCMSec. Maybe you know the guy from TCM. He also makes really cool YouTube videos. And it's for intermediate level if you have already some experience. It's quite cheap. It costs like $300 to $400. So for $300, you only get the exam. For $400, you get the exam and you get 5 courses to prepare for a whole exam. It's quite new. Like it started, I think, last year or 1.5 years ago with the whole course. And what they really like is it has a really realistic exam scenario. Because if you know the OSCP is also a little bit higher from the knowledge, but you have only 24 hours to pwn 5 machines, and you have 24 hours to write a report at the OSCP exam. This exam is much better and much more realistic because you have 5 days to pen test a virtual lab, then you have 2 days to write the report, and then you need to do a debriefing in front of a jury or 15 minutes. So it's a really realistic scenario like you would have in the real world. And as said, it's super cheap. I bought it myself, and I'm currently on Interrail. I first thought I will learn in the train, but not going to happen. But I'm going to do that when I'm back in Vienna again. I want this certification because it's super cheap. So I made a small comparison table. As say, the first two are beginner level, and the PNPT is intermediate. The exam format is for the AOPT and for the PNPT is both like a practical exam. And at the AOPT is also like some multiple choice part included. For the OffSec fundamentals there is no real exam for the learning basic courses, but if you want to do the Kali and the wireless course, you have a hands-on exam for the certification. For the prices, as you see, they're quite cheap, and also sometimes you can afford it yourself. For example, the AOPT for $200 and the PNPT. And for the OffSec fundamentals, probably it's better if like the company pays it for you if you're like interested into the field and the company wants to support you. One thing about, as I said, for the expiration before, there are different things about expiration. For example, the AOPT in the first version now has no expiration, but in a version 2 it have expiration of 3 years, so it's 3 years valid, your certificate. For the OffSec fundamentals, you have no certification because you did like just the intro course, and for the 2 certifications there's also no expiration. If you do it, you're done and you have the certificate. For the PNPT, they changed it. In the beginning they had like no expiration. Now they changed it, they have like, it's called continuous education, CE, so you need to gather some CE points. I think you need to gather 30 points in 3 years. And you can do it by like going to conferences, having talks, doing another certification, and it's quite doable. And also one thing is about, I forgot to mention, often certificate authorities that give you certificates out also want money from you to renew the certificate, or you need to be a member of the certificate authority, and they like want yearly money from you. But the PNPT people are not, they don't want your money. They say, they introduce the continuous education because they want to go in more industries, and they want that the certificate has some kind of renewable stuff. So they say if you meet the criteria, we'll get the certificate renewed, but we don't want extra money from you for that. So it's quite okay that they say, okay, you need to I said lifelong learning, you need to gather these education points, but you don't need to pay to renew the certificate. So for the my more or less last slide is like reality and future. IT security is growing really fast, and people are needed. People are sitting here please come and join us in this interesting clusterfuck, I really say, because it's really a lot of stuff is broken and a lot of stuff needs to be fixed, and there are a lot of challenges out there, and we need curious people that wanna tackle this. Especially our systems are really complex, so you're gonna have fun debugging the stuff or fixing it. But it's a nice challenge. I think you have quite some interesting topics and some interesting scenarios you're dealing with. And also another problem is, of course, criminals like APTs are very professional groups. They have sometimes even company structure, like they're getting paid and have holidays, whatever. That's like reality. And so companies have a really hard time by getting attacked by these APTs. And it's our goal first to get these criminals to jail. And another thing is that we should defend the companies that get attacked by them. So help them improve their IT security posture, have awareness trainings for the people in the companies, harden the system, test the system for bugs. So I think that's our thing. We should do good as IT security professionals and IT people in general. As already said, I have additional resources that I have in the slides. I will just upload the slides after the talk. So first, thanks to Tony Mir. He has a super nice GitHub profile where he has a repo with getting started in IT InfoSec. There's a lot of links and information, also like what I talked in more detail. If you're like looking for a job, there's a super nice, neat CV template in LaTeX that you can use to make a really shiny CV. Then, as I said, the ENA Starter Pass, you get free educational material there on the platform for the AOPT preparation. So you can check it out if it's nice, do I like the material, and you can still choose if you want to buy the exam. Then, real nice, maybe some of you know Burp, the network pen testing tool, or the web pen testing tool. And there's a Burp Academy where you can learn about web vulnerabilities. It's a super nice lab where you really can learn the vulnerabilities in detail, and it's for free. So if you're really interested in web security, check this out. It's a super nice resource and super nice challenges to solve, and you will learn a lot there. Then, I didn't tackle this one, but if you're like into open source intelligence, OSINT, there's an OSINT dojo with a lot of interesting challenges to solve. Check out osintdojo.com. It's super nice organization to learn open source intelligence. Then additional resources, part 2. As I already said, there are universities that offer free online courses that are really like happening. You are online for 4 or 8 weeks, and you get to have exams. You can earn a certificate. And it's totally free. And there is like a link where you have like 5 courses set up, like some hardware security course, some course about cybercrime, another course about cryptography. So you can really check it out and just subscribe there. Then there's another Twitter thread about also another 10 free IT security university courses. I really need to check it out. It sounds quite interesting. I'm going to maybe do another course in my free time, because if it's free and you can learn something, why not? Then capture the flags. Sometimes it's quite hard to get into this because sometimes challenges are super hard and you don't know how to start or don't have the knowledge. And there's PicoCTF. It's a beginner-friendly CTF platform where you can really do beginner challenges and get like known to the CTF format, and it's super nice. So if you want to get into capture the flags, check out PicoCTF. It's super cool for a beginning point. Another cool platform is Over the Wire. They have also like war games, like capture the flag challenges with different levels. And it's also super beginner thing, because you have like, for example, you have a challenge where you start with SSH and you learn some basic Linux commands and need to find some files or some sizes that you can get to the next level. And it's super interesting, and you can learn a lot of stuff there too. Then the last thing, the third last thing is a Twitter thread about various capture flag platforms like TryHackMe, HackTheBox, other CTF platforms. Check it out. It's super nice. There are a lot of platforms out there for this kind of hacking stuff. 2 last things. ask your favorite search engine. I don't recommend really Google. They're like DuckDuckGo and other things. But yeah, if you use Google, use Google. But you can find a lot of stuff on the internet too. And the most important thing is ask your friends and colleagues. They can give you recommendations, what they know, what works. They can give you some tips, what are cool resources. Talk with them, discuss with them. And I say thank you very much, keep rocking, and I'm open for question and discussion. And also feel free to talk to me at the conference here. I'm up for discussion. If you have some questions, feel free to talk with me, to me. And wait for the microphone for the question, please.
Hello.
Hello?
I have one question regarding the voice security. Nobody talk about voice security.
About what?
Voice security.
Voice security?
Yes.
Like phishing attacks over phone, you mean?
About, for example, I'm hack my own voice system,
Okay.
and there is nobody talk about that.
Okay. We can discuss it afterwards. Like it's a quite specific topic. It's like out of scope of this talk, but let's like speak later together and we can discuss this.
No problem.
Yeah, I just had a question. Did you ever have an instance where you talked with a client and found out they didn't update their system in years? And how did you deal with it?
The thing is, on a professional level, you must say, you just say to the customer, hey, you have an unpatched system that is not patched. It's like already 3 years old, no patches, and you need to tell him, you write the report and you write it's maybe critical or high vulnerability and say you need to patch it. But it's a responsibility of the customer. As a penetration tester, when I do a report, when I do a pen test, I give the customer a report, and the customer, it's his or her like responsibility to patch the stuff. We can give them recommendations, but it's not our business. We can tell them, you could do it like this, you can patch this, you can implement this, but that's the responsibility of the customer. So in the end, on a professional level, it's not really your business in the end. You can say, hey, we really recommend you to patch your systems, but it's their responsibility. And they have your report, they have the papers, and if some incidents happens, it's their problem in the end. And you can't do more than telling them, hey, your systems are like unpatched. I mean, personally, I'm feeling really bad and it hurts when I see some really broken system and people are not patching it. But in the other hand, it's their fault. We give them help and recommendations. But if they don't do it, it's like what you can do. It's like it's out of your scope.
What about if you discover vulnerability in, for example, a national health system or something which impacts everything? Is it your responsibility to disclose that to the entire world, or do you still go through the channels?
That's a really good question. In my opinion, if you have really big, like, I don't know, health organization with all health public data, like if you have some bug where you can get all the health data of the people, of course, first it's, of course, your responsibility that you disclose this, but I think it's not the way to disclose it publicly, but like, for example, you can write the CERT, the Computer Emergency Response Team, that can forward the bug to the authority and help them fix it. But in my opinion, it's a dick move to make a public announcement that people probably abuse your bug and steal the data. Of course, you should do good as a IT security professional or as an IT person, and you should also use appropriate channels to get this information to the right personnel. Well then, thank you very much, and see you at the karaoke party tonight. And I will just upload the slides now in a pre-talks. You can just download it from the website where the talks are.